This video will be going over the remaining characters in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero from Dragon Ball Z, Super, and GT. Now keep in mind, even though there's 49 characters yet to be revealed, there are 45 characters that we haven't seen because they've shown some of these characters, but they have not added them to the character rosters or any of the recent websites. So already on the Tenkaichi 3 roster, we have GT Goku, who is not in the game, obviously. We have Kid Goku, who is also not in the game so far. We have seen a snippet of Kid Goku that proves he's going to be in the game, but that's it. Kid's Chi-Chi is also not... I imagine Kid Chi-Chi, again, Kid's Chi-Chi just like Pilaf, I can 100% just see her being removed from the game. It's like a character that I don't imagine is many people's fan favorites. I don't see... They're probably not going to spend resources on Chi-Chi when they have more Brolys and more Gogetas to make, you know? Nama and Eita. Now, I think Nama might still have a chance because he is still pretty relevant to the tournament he was in. And Eita is very relevant to Kid Goku's character overall. And Arale, I don't know how you pronounce the name, but she's a gag character. She was even relevant in Dragon Ball Super. She made a reappearance. So she's definitely going to be in the game as well, 100%. Supreme Kai, and keep in mind, with Supreme Kai, there is also the potential for Kibito Kai, but definitely the potential for the fused version, which was Shin Kibito Kai, Shin Kai. We have not seen Pan also. Keep in mind there would be a Pan GT and a Pan Super potentially as well, right? Because Super Pan, I don't imagine Super Pan would have a lot of moves if they do add her, but Pan GT could definitely get added because she's a main, one of the main characters of Dragon Ball GT. The story wouldn't even work without her, so yeah, she's definitely making it. Speaking of Pan, actually, Oob, because Oob is also super relevant, right? He's literally the end of Z character, as well as, a strong character throughout all of Dragon Ball GT. I could see them adding 3 versions of Oob this time around, actually. We're going to get Oob Z, which is going to be Kid Oob. Then we'll get, Oob GT, which would be his base form, and then Modoob. So that is very cool. I can't wait to see how they actually tackle the GT variants of a lot of characters alongside their Z or Super variants, right? Grandpa Gohan might have a chance of making it in the game simply because he is, Goku's father figure, I guess. Well, his real one, not because forget Bardock, right? Grandpa Gohan taught Goku everything he knows. He was there for him. And as well as the fact that Goku named his son after him, I can see Grandpa Gohan being added into the game just for that relevance alone. Android 16 was shown in V-Jump, but they haven't actually put him on the website yet, which is pretty bizarre. Did they think we just missed that? The same with Android 19, actually. They were both in a V-Jump, but the website hasn't added them. I guess the website only adds characters who have been named with title cards in the trailers. We know End Piccolo should definitely be in the game as well. I could see Tapion making it in because there's no way they don't add Hirudegarn into the game. That would be extremely fraudulent if they don't. And Pikkon is also pretty relevant when it comes to the Afterlife stuff. When they do Z Gogeta, they have to do Z Gogeta's enemy, which would be, both forms of Janemba. Which, keep in mind, we haven't seen either of them. Either forms of Janemba as well in this game. So that's even more characters that they need to add into the game. Again, GT Vegeta is one I want to be in the game, like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, but again, we have no guarantee if GT Vegeta will make it. Super Saiyan 4 100% will make it. Even if he ends up being DLC, he will make it in the game. I don't think he'll be DLC, I'm just saying to, for people who worry about Dragon Ball GT DLC content, but yeah, I hope they do add base GT Vegeta with his Super Saiyan form and then Super Saiyan 4 as well. That would just be cool. We also do have Bardock's squad, characters like Fasha and stuff like that, as well as their, giant forms. Oh yeah, because also Graves. Fasha was the only other Bardock member I think that was in the game though. I don't think they added Shugesh or any of the others, so I'm gonna assume that they'll add them, so that way you can do 5v5s with the Ginyu Force versus Bardock squad. Fasha might make it back in if they stick with the Bardock Force thing. And if they do, then they'll all have great forms, which would be very, very cool, to be honest. So can't wait to see that. Speaking of Bardock and the others, actually, obviously we'll get slots for Frieza soldiers, right? Because Tenkaichi had 2 or 3 Frieza soldier slots. I know I had 2 because Kui is just so basic. I keep thinking he's one of them. But Kui is his own separate character. He was even confirmed. There's the beautiful son of a gun. Kui was even confirmed already, so we already know he's going to be in alongside however many number of Frieza soldiers they think should be in the game. So we'll just have to wait and see what they think about that. Nova Shenron was in Tenkaichi 3, but Ice Shenron wasn't. Ice Shenron, to be fair, is far less relevant than Nova, but I could definitely see them doing him this time around because Ice Shenron is he's a pretty cool villain to just beat up. He's just, an evil, douchebag. He's not a very nice guy. He's a character that everyone will take joy, casually beating up on. So Ice Shenron, I can see him being in the game 100%, just to add to the GT villain roster. Because again, in Tenkaichi 3, the GT villains is literally just Omega Shenron, Baby, and Super 17. That's it. I don't think there's even a Dr. Mew or anything like that. So yeah. Souza was also in Tenkaichi 3, but Souza, I can see Souza being removed just because, like screw Souza, like who actually cares? We have Goku Black now, we don't need Souza's dumb Keyblade. So I can see Souza being removed, 100% definitely. Cooler's obviously going to be in the game. There's no way Cooler doesn't make it in the game. Cooler, okay, I'm going to say this now. Cooler and Z Broly will be in the game no matter what. They're just too popular. Z Broly was so popular, they literally made them canon. And I imagine Cooler would be the next movie villain to become canon. We'll just have to wait for that moment. Tao Pai Pai and Cyborg Tao, I could definitely see being in the game. Maybe not Cyborg Tao, because he's only relevant for Tien, and they hate Tien. So I could see them taking Cyborg Tao out. Garlic Jr., the Immortal one. I wonder if he'd have a special Immortal passive. I'm hoping Zamasu has one. Like a Blast 1 skill that does like some sort of health regen or like some ability like activates on death, who knows. But Garlic Jr. I could definitely see being removed. He was only relevant for the one movie where Goku and Piccolo team up, and that was really only like hype for like the eventual team up they would have in the Saiyan Saga, where they team up on Raditz. So I don't imagine Garlic Jr. would be relevant anymore, and they can just throw him away. I know he does have the transformed state with the dead zone and stuff, but like again, Garlic Jr. is super relevant. It doesn't matter if you like Garlic Jr. or if I like Garlic Jr., right? They'll just be like, well, who's gonna make us money? Who are the characters people are gonna want to play? What moments are people gonna want to recreate in custom battle mode, in 5v5s, in ranked, etc., right? Those are the things they're gonna prioritize. So I don't imagine they'll be looking at Garlic Jr. and thinking, oh yeah, we'll put him in the game and his transformation. Like I don't think they'll really go for that. General Blue he's also kind of irrelevant. I think General Blue is a super entertaining villain, and seeing him lose especially is just great. But he's OG Dragon Ball. Not to speak bad on OG Dragon Ball, because I love it so much. I think it's actually as good as DBZ, if not better, because I think it's got better arcs than DBZ. But OG Dragon Ball is not exactly the most relevant thing. So Android 13 and Super 13. Oh my god, Jesus. Okay, so they are movie villains. They have a good chance of making in. And if they do make in, they might actually bring it. Oh, because keep in mind, characters can get items that change their moveset slightly, right? We know if you pre-order Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, you get a version of DBS Goku with the Power Pole that actually changes his super attacks to to include the Power Pole with it, right? And keep in mind, that's a costume. It's not a new character, it's a costume. Meaning he can still go Super Saiyan, God, and Blue, and he'd still have the Power Pole on his back. And I think they even said the Power Pole changes attacks based on his forms as well. So the Power Pole is probably going to replace all of his melee supers, like, God Impact, no hit, no grudge hit, or whatever the hell they call that crap. That's going to change his moveset. So Android 13 might get added, and he might bring a costume of Goku that has the Super Saiyan Spirit Bomb punch. And if that does happen, god damn, yes, put Android 13 in the game so long as we get that. Yes, I want to see how that looks in Sparking Zero. Please do that. That move has not been in any real Dragon Ball game to my knowledge. Dr. Wheelo. Dr. Wheelo I think is also super cool, especially because he's a giant character, but he's by far one of the most irrelevant characters. I think more people know Garlic Jr. than they know Dr. Wheelo. So he's probably not going to make it in, but he was in Tenkaichi 3, so I am mentioning him regardless. King Vegeta was also in the game. Okay, King Vegeta. He would still get added, I imagine, right? Because he's King Vegeta. He's going to be popular just for having the same name as his son, who is now the new second main character of Dragon Ball. So he's going to make it in, and hopefully he gets his great form. Turles also had a great form, if I recall. So Turles also a movie villain, so he's probably just going to make it in anyways. I should have mentioned him when I was talking about other movie villains, but Turles is going to have a great form most likely, as well as be in the game. So I can 100% expect that. Baby and 17. I am hoping that they do a Hellfighter 17, just so Super 17 has more character slots or more of a move set. Maybe a Hellfighter 17 that has a few different moves from Z17, or maybe he'll just be a costume for Z17. Who knows, right? That's what they'll probably just do. Gonna be in the game. He's probably the most popular GT villain. He's just cool. He takes over Vegeta's body and changes it so much he looks like a different guy. And he's one of the only Great Ape villains in the series, because it's only just Vegeta, right? So it's Vegeta and Baby. And Baby's Great Ape is also, I think, one of the biggest giants in Dragon Ball by far. He is way bigger than actual Great Ape Vegeta is supposed to be. We have Lord Slug over here, as well as Bojack and Zangia. Lord Slug, I don't know if he'll make it in. He was really only relevant for false Super Saiyan. Like, I think they're going to make a Piccolo that's before even the Piccolo we have in the game. Like, a Piccolo that doesn't know special from canon, but he does have a giant form. Because keep in mind, one of Goku's most iconic moves, which is Meteor Combination, that is not on any of the Gokus in Sparking Zero. In Tenkaichi 3, it was on Goku Mid, the one that goes Super Saiyan on Namek. But in Sparking Zero, it's not on any of the Gokus, despite being one of Goku's most iconic moves. So they're probably going to make a teen Goku, like a Goku that participated in that tournament alongside Piccolo Jr. And Piccolo Jr. will be his own separate character that goes giant. If they do that, then I imagine they would get rid of Lord Slug, because he's only relevant for being a giant Namekian. And then Bojack. Bojack, I don't like Bojack at all. He's probably one of the only characters I've mentioned here that I actually outright don't like and don't have any care for. But Bojack is still relevant for being a Gohan victim, and Zangia is still relevant for being a Bojack victim, so I can imagine they will both end up in the game just for that. We are still waiting on all of Cell's forms, but don't forget Cell Jr. is also an antagonist in Dragon Ball. It's an enemy that must be defeated in order to face Cell, so Cell Jr. is going to be in the game as well. All of Majin Buu's forms, this mostly includes just like, you know, Super Buu and Evil Buu, which is technically also kind of just Super Buu, and then Kid Buu. So, you know, every form that's not Fat Buu is still a character that can be added. Cooler, as well as Metal Cooler, because why not? They might even go for Cooler Core. Don't forget the Cooler Core was actually in Ultimate Tenkaichi. And while Ultimate Tenkaichi isn't actually technically a Tenkaichi game, despite having it in the name, Cooler Core has a finished model. They have something they can build off of. He's got a moveset and everything, so I imagine if they do want to give a giant form to Cooler, which would technically make him the first giant playable Frieza in like a Tenkaichi game, which would be nuts. That's a thing they can do. They can make a Cooler Core a character. Tambourine. Tambourine was one of Piccolo Jr.'s minions, or I guess children, you could say. He will probably get added just so he can be, you know, a kid Goku victim, or just so, you know, they can have a bigger, like, list of Dragon Ball villains. Same thing with Babidi, actually. Babidi was also playable in Tenkaichi 3. He used his summons as, like, his super attacks, which was really cool and stuff. Not to mention, I'll probably need his model in the game for the scene where Buu kills him after fighting Super Saiyan 3 Goku, so he's probably just going to be playable for that alone. Mecha Frieza also hasn't been shown in Sparking Zero yet, but to be fair, they haven't shown a lot of stuff involving Sword Trunks, so Mecha Frieza, obviously we haven't seen him either. But I imagine, yeah, Mecha Frieza will definitely be playable. He's just the most popular Dragon Ball villain, but a cyborg. Like, there's no way he doesn't make it into the game. Speaking of that guy, King Cold dies with him, so King Cold's probably going to be in the game too. I wonder if they'll still give him a giant sword or if he'll have like a new moveset. Sin Shenron, which would also mean Omega Shenron, because Sin Shenron is his first stage. He's also a GT character. Yeah, he's going to be in, like, no matter what. He's the GT final boss. Evil Buu is Majin Buu but evil. But again, like I say, he's not really relevant. I don't know if he'll actually get added to the game. I think Sin Shenron is definitely going to be the pure evil character of the game. I don't imagine they'll want to rush or, like, prioritize Evil Buu, since he's really just there to lose to Majin Buu. And when you consider how the story in Sparking Zero is going to work too, there are going to be a lot of events that we won't actually see in the story mode. We'll have to see them through custom battle mode or by just playing them ourselves. Because there are only 8 playable characters in the story mode, and we already know that they're Z fighters, right? So there's going to be no point where you play as Majin Buu and you have to fight Evil Buu. Therefore, they can just skip Evil Buu. It's going to be sad to hear, I know, but there's a lot of instances that I could see that they just won't recreate because you don't actually play as the characters for that moment, and then the moment itself isn't really that important. Just knowing that the moment happened is enough, so you can then continue with the rest of the story. Hirudegarn. How the hell did I forget to mention Hirudegarn when I was talking about Tapion? Hirudegarn's definitely going to make it in just because Goku has Dragon Fist in Super Saiyan 3. They could have given him something like True Kamehameha or something, like when he tries to show Kid Buu what a real Kamehameha is like. But they gave him Dragon Fist, so that means Hirudegarn's getting in the game. Demon King Piccolo, I already talked about him. He's the final boss of Dragon Ball. He's definitely going to be in the game. And Devilman. Devilman, I think 100% will be in the game. He had an entire mechanic based around him, and only him, in Tenkaichi. He has the only move in the game that does damage scale, and it does damage scaling based on how evil the other characters were, okay? A good example is if you were Goku, you would literally take 0 damage if the Devil Might Beam hit you, and when you went Super Saiyan, you would take barely much, like, more damage, because Super Saiyan naturally channels, like, dark thoughts, evil thoughts, violence, and all that stuff through Goku's, like, body, even when it's controlled right. And Vegeta would actually take more damage than Goku in Super Saiyan, as well as Vegeta being able to be hurt in base because he's not as nice as Goku. And characters like Frieza and Omega Shenron, you know, etc., they just die in one hit because they're pure evil, so they can't survive it. So Devilman will definitely be in the game because they based an entire, like, system around him. So, like, and he's a silly gimmick character. In fact, there might even be a DBS version of a similar, like, silly gimmick character who's gonna have like an entire mechanic based around only their moves. So I'm curious what you guys think that might be. Maybe Monaka or something, but I have no idea, right? DBS doesn't have as many silly billies as OG Dragon Ball did. So yeah, but I think Devilman is definitely going to end up in the game. There's no way Devilman Beam doesn't, like, do its thing. And I think that is a good place to end the video. I went through the entire Tenkaichi 3 cast, talking about characters from that game that could be added. And I even mentioned a few eventual characters that aren't from Tenkaichi 3, but could still be added to Sparking Zero, just because they have a big impact on Dragon Ball in general, or because they're relevant, or, you know, just for anything else they could bring to the table, you know. So I'm curious to see. I am still hoping that they do a teen Goku, a Goku that comes before early Z Goku, the one that fights Piccolo Jr. in the World Tournament, because he would have an entirely unique move. So he'd probably have like a foot Kamehameha move. He'd have like his first Super Kamehameha, which was the massive one. Then finally Meteor combination. Oh, he might even have the headbutt as part of his ultimate attack. Who knows, right? But we'll have to wait and see when the full game actually does come out, what other characters will add. In fact, we only have to wait and see until the next trailer, because, you know, when they do the next trailer, they'll show more confirmed characters. But I think that's a good place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you enjoyed the video, obviously, again, please leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. And leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, or what else you think I missed, what other character you want to be in the game, and anything, right? So just let me know. And I think this will be a solid place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, then obviously, again, please, yeah. And I will see you all next time. Take care, and sayonara.